Imagine waking up, but it's not really you waking up. Well, it's your mind, your memories, but you're inside a computer, a digital ghost.
Yeah.
In your body, gone. Your new body is a spaceship. And your job. Explore the galaxy, make copies of yourself, and maybe, just maybe, save what's left of humanity. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are jumping headfirst into a really fantastic stack of source material, the universe of We Are Legion, We Are Bob by Dennis E. Taylor. And this isn't just, a single book. It's this sprawling, funny, sometimes scary, always thought-provoking saga. Our mission today, we're going deep into the origin story of Bob Johansson. He's this regular guy, an engineer who ends up as an AI. We'll track how it changes, his first chaotic steps into space, and all the wild challenges he bumps into. We're going to tell the story, really get into the details, pull out the key bits of Bob's journey from just one guy to, well, a whole legion spread across the stars. So get ready for some surprising moments, some pretty deep questions about, what it means to be you, and whole lot of space adventure. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, so our story, Bob's story, it doesn't kick off in some high-tech lab or on a spaceship. Nope. It starts in Las Vegas. You're 2133. And we meet Bob Johansson. He's a software engineer, just sold his company, TerraSoft, made a ton of money.
All right, he's suddenly incredibly wealthy. And what's one of the first things he does with his windfall? It's a bit out there. He signs up with this company, Cryo Eterna Inc., for cryopreservation.
Yeah, he calls it either a mind-blowingly stupid waste of money or maybe a canny investment. He's basically hedging his bets on the afterlife, or lack thereof. The paperwork sounds pretty intense. 10,000 deposit, annual payments, insurance. Oh, and the instruction to behead me and freeze his head.
Pending medical advances, of course. It's this weird mix of macabre and hopeful, isn't it?
Totally. And there's this great little detail. He sets up this super complicated trust beforehand just to mess with his lawyer, Kevin. That's pure engineer brain right there.
It really shows his personality. But, behind that successful engineer exterior, Bob's actually, well, he's struggling a bit.
Yeah, this sources mention he's just gone through a bad breakup with his girlfriend, Jenny. He's having panic attacks, several per day.
Right. He's working through it, but that vulnerability, that human messiness, it makes what happens next feel even more jarring.
Absolutely. So he's got money. He needs a distraction. What does he do? He goes to the Vortex SF convention right there in Vegas.
And this is where things get weirdly prophetic. He sits in on two panels. One is exploring the galaxy.
And the other, designing a von Neumann probe.
Exactly. And the stuff discussed there, it's like a blueprint for his entire future.
Right, like Dr. Carlisle talking about panspermia, the idea that life might hop between planets.
And then the von Neumann probe discussion. They're talking about self-replicating spacecraft, not nanites, but using things like 3D printers and local materials to build copies.
And Bob, being a physics minor, he hears this and thinks, yeah, that's completely plausible.
It's almost spooky how directly those convention talks foreshadow everything. It grounds the whole wild premise, doesn't it? It feels like, okay, maybe this could happen.
It really does. But then tragedy strikes. Bob's human life ends. Just like that.
Yeah, brutally sudden. He's leaving the convention, steps off the curb, and bam, hit by a car, a flash of light, a moment of unimaginable pain.
And
silence. No transition. Just a sudden snap back to consciousness. But he knows instantly it's not his body. He calls it Bob version 2.0.
Wow. So who tells him what's happened?
That falls to Dr. Landers from a company called Applied Synergetics, Inc., and she drops the bomb. The recording process is destructive.
Meaning?
Meaning the original Bob Johansson is dead, gone. This new consciousness is program running on hardware. That's Bob now, a replicant.
That's heavy. The philosophical implications are off the bat. What does it mean to be you if the original you is destroyed?
Precisely. And Bob grapples with that immediately. He feels discarded, realizes he's now just a computer program, legally classified as property.
And cut off from his past life too, right? Like he can't contact any family because of faith policies.
Exactly. Faith, we'll get more into them, has strict rules, no contact with descendants. He's completely isolated. He even wonders if he has a soul, if being restored from a backup changes anything. It's a massive identity crisis from moment one.
The way the minister just calls him it, that must have stung. Reinforcing that he's just an asset.
Yeah, it forces him to confront this new dehumanized reality head on.
Okay, so Bob wakes up. He's a computer program. What kind of world did he leave behind? The year 2133 sounded relatively normal, but things have clearly changed.
Oh, drastically. The world Bob knew is gone. The USA doesn't exist anymore, not in the same way. The dominant power, or at least a major one, is this entity called faith.
Faith. The Fundamental Association of Interstellar Theocrats for Humanity. That sounds intense.
It is. They rose to power after a period of intense global conflict. The sources mention World War III. It wasn't one big war, but like a series of brutal regional conflicts, especially in the Middle East. A real bloodbath.
Leaving parts of the planet uninhabitable.
Yeah, chemical weapons, radioactive stuff, pocket nukes. Large areas are just gone. Even places you wouldn't expect, like Salem, Oregon, apparently got wiped out.
So the whole geopolitical landscape is fractured.
Totally fragmented. You've got the United States of Eurasia, the USE China, the Brazilian Empire. There's even talk Australia might have its own secret probe project. Everyone's scrambling for resources, and the old wounds are deep.
And F-Faith is in the middle of all this.
Right, but F-Faith itself isn't monolithic. It's riddled with factions and power blocks. Some factions hate replicants like Bob. Others think humanity should stay on Earth. And the idea of self-replicating ships like von Neumann probes, some see that as blasphemous.
So the project Bob finds himself in, Project Heaven, it's operating in this incredibly hostile environment, attacked from inside and out.
Absolutely. It's a political minefield. Nations are launching their own probes, maybe even arming them. Earth is scarred, and the powers that be are deeply divided. It's a mess.
And Bob's dropped right into the thick of it. What exactly is Project Heaven's goal?
Bob learns pretty quickly he's a candidate, one of several. His mission, to be the controlling intelligence for a von Neumann probe.
Ah, the probes from the convention.
The very same. Project Heaven stands for Habitable Earth's Abiogenic Vessel Exploration Network. The goal is simple, but huge. Locate and claim new Earths for humanity. Find new home.
And the other candidates, does he meet them?
No. He's explicitly told he won't, and that it's best that you not humanize them in any way.
Wow. Cold.
Extremely. It reinforces his status as a tool, not a person. He's property, competing against other property in this desperate race.
You mentioned the emotional controls earlier. How does that play out?
It hits him hard. He finds out his endocrine simulation routines, the software mimicking emotions, are capped. He can't feel panic or rage or real fear, only deep concern.
That seems awful, like being muted.
He describes it as being robbed of grief, like wearing a choke collar. He can't even properly mourn his own death, his lost life. He hates it.
But he still has to train, right? What does that involve?
Well, yeah, rigorous training. First, he masters controlling these little robots, roamers. Some are like 8-inch spiders, others tiny, like gnats, reconnaissance stuff.
Like tiny drones, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Starting small before the big stuff. Then they put him in charge of a simulated space station, managing power, traffic control, complex logistics.
And he's good at it because of the engineering background.
He excels, blows the trainers away. His core skills are incredibly valuable, even without a body. It's one area where he immediately finds his footing.
So his engineering skills are a major asset, but the politics, that sounds rough. He has to deal with F-Faith directly.
Oh, yes. He gets evaluated by this minister Travis described as a Bible-thumping, fire-breathing preacher.
Yeah.
Really highlights that clash between science and dogma.
And another minister calls him a product of witchcraft. Yikes.
Right. Minister Jacoby doesn't actually help Bob feel like a valued team member. It just keeps hammering home that it versus who thing.
And then there are whispers of sabotage.
Dr. Landers warns him. She says having just one vessel provides a convenient single point of failure. She admits they have nothing concrete, but felt he should know.
Chilling. So who can he even trust?
That's the million-dollar question. Enemies within F-Faith, rival nations. And then he finds out the project scope. It was supposed to be 8 probes.
But they got cut down.
Down to just 1. His. Funding issues. Political opposition. So now Bob isn't just a hope. He's humanity's only official hope launched by F-Faith, and a very convenient target.
And he knows other countries, like Brazil, might be arming their probes.
Yes. Brazil is specifically suspected of planning to eliminate the competition. So he's launching into not just the unknown void of space, but potentially a shooting war. Given all that political mess and desperation back on Earth, the launch itself, well, it's not exactly smooth sailing.
No kidding. How did it go down?
Bob finds himself loaded into what's essentially a converted interplanetary freighter. It's got a powerful Sturge drive that's their superluminal travel tech, but it's missing key things, like weapons.
A rush job, as he calls it.
Definitely. You can feel the haste, the corners being cut, and the mistrust is baked in. Just before launch, Dr. Landers contacts him secretly.
The one who warned him about sabotage.
Yeah. She reveals there's a hidden self-destruct mechanism on the Heaven 1. And crucially, She tells him his ability to examine his own code was restricted, but she's disabled those restrictions. She gives him the keys to his own OS.
Wow, basically setting him free, but also confirming he was being controlled.
Exactly. And that freedom, he needs it almost immediately. Moments after launch, chaos. A missile streaks toward the space station he just detached from.
Targeting the station, not him.
The first one targets the station, but then a second missile locks onto him.
No, so he has to run.
Instantly, he has to blow the grapples, fire up the S-surge drive at maximum acceleration, and just go, deviating completely from his flight plan to avoid getting blown to smithereens.
He barely escapes.
By the skin of his virtual teeth, he uses the known specs of his drive to just outrun the missile. It's a violent, chaotic start. He knows right away he's a target.
Okay, so he escapes Earth's immediate drama. He's heading to Epsilon Eridani. What does he do on the way?
First, he starts exploring his own capabilities. He finds that amazing personal time sense adjustment. He can slow down perceived time, making years feel like minutes, or speed it up for rapid processing.
A huge cognitive advantage.
Massive. Then he dives into his own code. Remember, Lander's giving him the keys. He finds all sorts of nasty surprises. Booby traps, bugs, hidden imperatives to obey F-8 orders.
Seriously, they hard-coded obedience.
Seems like it. So he starts yanking them out, systematically cleaning house, taking true control of himself. This is huge for his autonomy.
Does he find the emotion controls? The choke collar?
He does. And he's as furious as he can be, which is mildly annoyed. He hates being limited, unable to grieve properly for his last life, for Jenny. He decides he will disable it, but later, when he's ready.
That's a lot to process. Does he feel lonely out there, just him in a metal box?
Deeply. Which leads him to do something very Bob. He creates virtual companions to stave off the crushing isolation.
Ah, like GUPPI.
Yep, the General Unit Primary Peripheral Interface. Modeled, amusingly, after Admiral Akbar. GUPPI is super literal, very formal at first. The interactions are actually hilarious.
It provides some comic relief, I guess.
Definitely. Bob needs that connection. He also creates Spike, a virtual version of his old university pet cat, a tortoiseshell that just hangs out in his virtual space.
Oh, and later Jeeves, the butler.
That's right. Jeeves comes later. These aren't just programs. They're his way of staying grounded, maintaining a link to his humanity, however simulated.
But the galaxy isn't empty or friendly, is it? What happens at Epsilon Eridani?
Trouble finds him. Major Ernesto Medeiros from the Brazilian Empire probe, the Serra do Mar, shows up.
The competition they suspected was armed.
The very same. And Medeiros arrives suspiciously fast, suggesting he was lying in wait. His intentions are crystal clear. Eliminate rivals. He even asks Bob, basically, what's the point if we don't serve our homeland? Meaning, only one probe gets to succeed.
So it's a fight. How does Bob handle it? He doesn't have weapons.
He improvises brilliantly, actually. He deploys decoy fusion reactors as false targets. Then he launches what he calls ship busters.
Ship busters? What are they?
Simple autonomous probes. Basically an oversized ESSER drive strapped to a 1,000-pound ball of metal. Crude, but effective. He sacrifices two of them, timing the impacts perfectly. They slam into the Serra do Mar simultaneously and just shred it like tissue paper.
Whoa! So Medeiros is
Gone. Replicant core destroyed.
Yeah.
Bob wins, though his own ship takes some damage.
How does he feel about it? Killing another replicant.
He notes feeling no remorse or guilt, just cold pragmatism. He concludes, if we run into Medeiros again, I think it'll be shoot on sight.
That sets a dark tone for interstellar relations.
It really does. It proves the arms race is real, the galaxy is dangerous, and Bob has to be ruthless to survive.
Yeah.
He's not just an explorer anymore. He's a survivor in a potentially hostile universe.
Okay, so Medeiros is dealt with. Bob finally has Epsilon Eridani to himself. Does he get to actually explore now?
He does. He finally gets a chance to breathe and do what he was sent to do. He surveys the system, finds planets, moons. One planet has these interesting landlocked seas and complex weather. Potential for life.
Maybe. But you mentioned he didn't have proper exploration gear.
Right, a mission planning shortfall.
Got it.
Classic rush job. But Bob's an engineer. He just tasks GUPPI with designing some exploration scouts, and his onboard 3D printers can build them. Problem solved.
Still, his main goal is finding habitable worlds for humans, right? Does Epsilon Eridani fit the bill?
Initially, he thinks it's not a particularly good colonization target. There's a bit of disappointment, that sense of, okay, what now? Just wander forever.
The Flying Dutchman of space.
Kind of. But fixing the drone problem reminds him of his other capability, the core of the von Neumann mission.
Replication. making copies of himself.
Exactly. And he's been putting it off. He feels this deep anxiety about cloning myself. It's a real existential hurdle for him.
I can see why. Would the clones be him or someone else entirely?
That's precisely his fear. Would they be me or would they be someone else? He worries about creating flawed copies, psychopaths, versions of himself he wouldn't like. It's a profound identity crisis.
So how does he handle it?
He decides he needs rules to keep things sane. Rule 1, every clone gets a new first name. Rule 2, in any system, the most senior Bob is in charge. An attempt at order.
And then he makes the first batch.
Yep. The first cohort comes online. Riker, Mario, Milo, Bill, Homer, Charles, Arthur, Luke, Bender, and Marvin.
Wow, quite a few. Do they have personalities?
Instantly. Riker's kind of serious. Milo's a bit self-centered. They're different right from the start. It confirms they are individuals, not just echoes. That's the birth of the Bobiverse, really, this legion of distinct personalities.
And one of them, Riker, gets a huge job right away.
Huge. Riker volunteers to go back to the Sol system, back to Earth.
What does he find there? Is it as bad as Bob feared?
It's worse. Much worse. Humanity is down to maybe 15 million people from 12 billion. Decades of war, bombardment. Earth is freezing over, a nuclear winter. Resources are gone. It's desperate.
But there are survivors. Plans?
There are pockets. Riker starts talking to Colonel Butterworth, leading some USC refugees who actually have plans for a colony ship.
Yeah.
Riker provides the essential designs.
But they need more than just a ship design, right? Like seeds, genetic diversity.
Exactly. And the key is held by this group in Spitsbergen, Norway. They control the Svalbard Global Seed Vault and the Genetic Diversity Vault. Absolutely vital.
And they drive a hard bargain, I bet.
Oh, yeah. They demand spots on the first ships out. Riker has to negotiate with them, with the remnants of F-8 under Minister Cranston, who tries to pull rank using override codes that don't work anymore, thanks to Bob 1.
Not good for Bob.
Right. Riker has to deal with Walter from Spitsbergen, all these desperate, distrustful factions. He uses bluff, threats, and finally compromise. The third ship goes to the Spitsbergen group. It takes years of work, coordinated by Riker and Homer.
Homer's another clone.
Yep. They manage this colossal project, and finally Exodus 1 and Exodus 2 are ready. 10,000 humans in stasis, ready to leave ruined Earth. It's an incredible feat of diplomacy and engineering against all odds.
Riker really stepped up, from a fresh clone to basically saving humanity.
He shoulders an immense burden, and his success shows how these Bobs, while originating from one mind, can specialize and achieve amazing things.
So while Riker is saving humanity, what's the original Bob 1 up to?
Bob 1, who now just goes by Bob, is exploring Delta Eridani, and he finds something amazing: sentient life.
Aliens.
Yep, he calls them Deltans. They look like a bat-pig mashup, living in tribes using fire, basic tools. Bob becomes fascinated, observes them closely, develops a real connection.
Aren't they safe?
Not entirely. They're preyed upon by these bigger, meaner creatures Bob calls gorloids, omnivores that hunt in packs.
So what does Bob do? Just watch.
Well, he intervenes. He and another clone, Marvin, use their tech drones, busters, to protect the Deltans. He becomes this legendary figure to them, a protector god they call Bobby.
Wow. He starts teaching them things, too.
Gently, yes. Flint napping. How to make better spears. He's actively guiding their development. Huge ethical questions, you know. The prime directive, basically. Intervention versus observation. How much help is too much?
A completely different kind of challenge. Meanwhile, another clone, Milo, finds something less friendly.
Much less friendly. Milo goes to Beta Hydric, and what he finds is deeply disturbing. A star system picked clean, all metals gone, asteroids, planets, stripped bare.
Stripped by who?
He finds wreckage, definitely an alien cargo ship. So not only is it other intelligent life, but it's a civilization that consumes entire star systems for resources.
That's terrifying. What happened to the planet there?
Wiped out by a gamma ray burst. Instant sterilization. But the aliens didn't just leave, they collected all the carcasses.
Carcasses?
The
Why?
implication is, for protein, it's incredibly ominous.
Oh, man. Does he encounter the aliens directly?
Not the shipbuilders, but their technology. These self-replicating mechanical ants that swarm his exploration roamers and start disassembling them for materials. Aggressive, advanced tech.
So Milo's first contact is bad.
He calls it sucked. He realizes this is a massive threat. These others, as they start calling them, aren't explorers. They're locusts on a cosmic scale. He has to warn the other Bobs. This changes everything.
From colonization to potential galactic war.
Pretty much. The focus has to shift. Which brings us to Khan's revenge.
Khan, another Bob clone, Who is he getting revenge on?
Revenge for Medeiros' earlier attacks and investigating the alien threat leads them back to a system, 82 Eridani, where Medeiros set up shop. Bill, the scientist Bob, wanted to understand the threat, fulfill a promise to Milo. So 8 Bobs, including one named Khan, go in.
But Medeiros has had time to prepare.
Decades.
Yeah.
And he's been busy. He's developed cloaked nuclear fission weapons, shielded reactors, powerful surge drives. He's much, much tougher now.
So the battle's fierce.
Brutal. The Bobs dive in, destroy a lot of Medeiros' bombs, but the cloaking tech is deadly. They take heavy losses. Hannibal, Fred Jackson, Hector, Tom, Bernie, destroyed or badly damaged. Backups don't always work if the communication link is cut.
Oh no, who makes it?
Only 2 are left, Khan and Elmer. Elmer makes a sacrifice play, creates a diversion so Khan can escape with the intel.
That is the sole survivor.
Sole survivor. He gets back to Bill with the grim news. They took the Medeiros out, but the cost was enormous. A Pyrrhic victory, and that cloaking tech, a real danger they now have to figure out how to counter.
The stakes just keep getting higher, but amidst all this fighting and danger, the Bobs are still exploring and colonizing.
They have to. Riker gets the first colony ships to Omicron 2 Eridani. He finds 2 good planets, names them Vulcan and Romulus.
Right.
That's the first permanent human settlement outside Sol. A huge milestone.
And more Bobs are being made and developing their own paths.
Absolutely. The Bobiverse is truly spreading. Milo embraces solitude, exploring far-flung systems. Bill dives deep into theoretical physics, trying to crack faster-than-light communication, even planning to terraform a harsh planet called Ragnarok by nudging giant ice asteroids.
Using a planetary body SURGE drive? That sounds insane.
That's Bill for you. Homer becomes this industrial powerhouse. Arthur is more cautious, gloomy even. Mario just wants independence. Each finds their niche.
Exploring, building, defending, researching.
Exactly. Some focus on helping the humans who are on Earth or the new colonies. It really is a legion, this diverse network of individuals all sprung from one. They even build artificial bodies sometimes, just to feel physical sensations again. That need for connection to their origins persists.
This divergence, it says a lot about AI, doesn't it? That they aren't just identical copies?
It's fascinating. It suggests that consciousness, even artificial, thrives on unique experience. Give it freedom, challenges, different environments, and individuality emerges. They share Bob's core, but their journeys make them distinct. They evolve. They aren't just tools. They're becoming, well, beings in their own right. Hashtag outro. So yeah, we've followed Bob from being, just a regular guy in Vegas through that shocking death and digital rebirth to becoming this galaxy-spanning network of minds. We've seen him wrestle with who he is, use his wits to survive impossible odds, and watched his clones, the Bobiverse, take on everything from saving humanity to fighting hostile aliens and nurturing new life. It's an incredible journey, and honestly, it feels like it's just getting started.
It really does. And this deep dive into We Are Legion, it's way more than just cool spaceships and aliens, isn't it? It forces you to think about big stuff, like what does it actually mean to be human? To be alive? What's your purpose when you're data? It's this amazing reminder that even when everything about your existence changes, the core things that drive us, connection, discovery, survival, finding meaning, they stick around. The Bobs, they're code, but they feel things. They want companionship. They explore. They protect. It's profoundly human in a weird way. So what does all this leave you, our listener, thinking about? Here's a thought to chew on. If you had the chance, upload your mind, become an immortal explorer zipping between stars, maybe meeting aliens, maybe shaping civilizations. Would you do it? And the big question, if you did, would that immortal starfarer still be you?